like I studied in Christ College.
Okay.
So in Christ College you could carry phone. So prior to that even phones weren't allowed. Right. So once I got into Christ, I used to take regular, like often I used to go for washroom breaks just to see the markets. I do remember which stock I bought first. I had bought Reliance, so that was the first stock which I bought. So I approached so many people who were trading and investing. Wherever I went, everybody was like, "Oh, you're too young, don't get into trade." But they themselves were traders, right? So they themselves were investors. I was thinking these people are such hypocrites. So they themselves are traders. They themselves have been doing from so long. But when I want to come in, they tell you don't come in at such an age. Eventually, now if somebody comes and asks me, I would give them the same advice. The things have changed so much. Zero the varsity. So it is an understatement to say it was like a real educator for Indian traders, because previous to that you never even knew how an option contract worked. So there was nobody talking about it, right? So that way varsity is a real good educator for Indian markets.
So your father was an investor and you are a trader. So initially you must have gone through a lot of risk. So how was their take on it?
Coming to this, so like once I think I already mentioned about how I was aiming to make 1% a day while he was aiming to make 15% a year. Right. So the thing is, he knew for a fact that what I was thinking is like not realistic. It couldn't be done. But because I was so enthusiastic about it, so he didn't want to discourage me and keep me totally off the financial markets. So he did support me by giving small money, like 2,000, 5,000 rupees initially. Then I started asking 10,000, 15,000. So I feel like, so whatever has happened, mostly it is mostly a factor of a lot of things like luck. So why I would say I am very lucky is, one, maybe to start off at an early age and get that support, because mostly what I see around is people are not even exposed to stock market or finance in age of
they don't believe in it.
Yeah, exactly, because most of the people or most of the family people believe that market is like a gamble, right? So they don't even let their children experience like what the market is. So that way, one, I was lucky. The second way why I was lucky is when I got into option selling. So selling in 2017, that was the same year when weekly expiries were introduced. Till then it was only monthly expiries.
Okay.
So because that gave me much more opportunity, one, and selling was very easy. Like you could simply sell and go to sleep and get back, and your OTM options would have become zero. Right?
Okay.
So the third thing was leverage was there, which helped to maximize the returns. So like multiple things falling in the right place, right? So if we had maybe started 2 years later, so by 2019 the leverage slowly started coming down. Maybe we would have never achieved the same amount of returns. Because leverage was there, we were making 2% every week because we had 30x leverage. And 2% every week is something like 8% every single month consistently, right? So that would have never happened in case if I had started little later, or if I had come to option selling little later. And if leverage wasn't there, we would have never generated the same kind of return. If we hadn't generated the same kind of return, we would have maybe not got the same access to the capital. So it's all about falling in the right place, and for that you have to really be lucky, I would say. Like I maybe deviated a little, but coming to your initial question, it was mostly about he already knowing that what I was having in my mind was unrealistic. But he was supporting me just to make me experience or expose me to the markets.
He was okay with you losing a tiny amount.
He was okay with me losing.
Okay, so I think time played a really luck factor for you.
Yes, time did play, again, like most of the people mentioned, so being right place at the right time. So like maybe if I had done anything prior or later, maybe I wouldn't have gotten the leverage, I wouldn't have gotten weekly selling, I wouldn't have got, option selling wouldn't have been that easy like now compared to what it was earlier. So all these falling into place really takes some luck.
Yeah. So you were lucky in that.
Yeah, I was lucky at that.
So you started your journey back in 2023, and that was a very young age of yours. And how did you source all the information? Because back there, it was very limited. you don't know where and how to get it. So
Correct.
where did you mentioned earlier you used to catch it from your father's screen
Correct.
and all those stuff, but you used to have a lot of doubts in it. How did
Right.
you cover it up?
So actually, the thing is, I used to mostly rely on YouTube to learn technical analysis.
Back in your 15 years?
Yes.
Oh my God.
YouTube was like you had internet. You could go like in the
Yeah.
sense like broadband was there. Like even Wi-Fi was there. So only thing is you didn't have good data, right? So
Maybe, yes.
YouTube. So there were not a lot of people talking about stocks, but if you actually go to this thing, there were finance lectures in colleges about technical analysis. So it was not a like stock related thing. So there were a lot of people. So I think most of the people maybe previously would know a person called as Krasimir Petrov. I think he was an Austrian professor, right? So like this, there were a lot of this thing where they taught fundamental analysis, technical analysis as a courseware for the college, and there were recorded lectures of these things. So through which I actually saw a lot of things, and so but mostly everything was theory based, right? So everything was theory. It was not something which you could go and apply to the market. But I was trying to do that, but I was failing. As I told you, it's from 13 to 17.
5 years, 4 years you were struggling.
Yeah, and also there were a lot of books, but all these books were again mostly theory, nothing which you could really use it in the practical sense, that too in Indian markets. So there was no real guide. So Zerodha Varsity, so it is an understatement to say it was like a real educator for Indian traders, because previous to that you never even knew how an option contract worked, right? So there was nobody talking about it, right? So that way Varsity is a real good educator for Indian markets.
Okay. So what would have been your first search question back at your 15?
I don't remember though, maybe
What is stock or something like that?
not maybe what is stock. I don't know exactly like what I would have like what I have actually searched.
Okay.
I don't recollect also like, but I do remember which stock I bought first. I had bought Reliance, so that was the first stock which I bought.
All right. Back at your childhood, 15 age. So your education was also on the other hand. So has your trading emotions affected you that way?
I would say not when it came towards exam, but when it actually came towards concentrating in class, yes, I was not concentrating in class. I was not making my notes properly because I was thinking about this. And whenever, like in Christ, you could carry phone. Before that, like I studied in Christ College. So in Christ College, you could carry phone. So prior to that, even phones weren't allowed. Right. So once I got into Christ, I used to take regular, like often I used to go for washroom breaks just to see the markets. So that way it did affect, but maybe not during exams. So I was more or less like average student. I would say not very. When I say average, like pretty decent student. So like as I told you, like education has a lot of prominence in my family. So that way, like I was pretty decent student, and obviously I didn't want to be like this person who didn't score well or something like that. So that way I did pretty well with my education.
Okay, so when you went down, you were okay with the educational stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't really let that affect my studies or anything of that sort.
Okay,
but
so how did you handle it?
No, as I told you, like it was two different distinct things. I knew that I had lost money, but when so it was affecting me in terms of college, be making notes, concentrating in the class. But when exams came, I used to make sure that I also used to start concentrating. Okay, I have to score marks. During this time, I have to score marks. I'll get back to the markets later. So that way, when the pressure started to build up for exams, I slowly reduced my focus towards.
Okay, so has a day happened, like, you know, a day before your examination, you have faced a huge down, and the next day you have to go for an examination or something like that?
Yeah, it happens. Like even on the day of exam also, you would be sometimes wishing that, okay, I finished the exam soon, just to come and see what has happened to the markets. Like many times it has happened. And also, like what happens is, So mostly with respect to these things, what will happen is there is always an element of hope that you will recover when you're losing money, right? So you tend to keep positions, and every day you're checking what is happening to the market. So even when you go to write exams, when you're in the class, so you're waiting for things to get over so you can go and take a look at the phone if you have some positions. So that way, yeah, like that, you will definitely lose the concentration of the present. Yeah.
What kept you motivated?
This thing, naturally I was inclined towards this. So I felt it was like, one, I had passion towards numbers, and stock looked quite curious. And like I enjoyed doing it. So even though I was losing money, so maybe I didn't enjoy the losing money part, but I enjoyed trading overall. So that kept me motivated to give it a try and go on.
Okay, so like, what is your thought on children coming to trading? Like, you started your journey back in 15, so what is your thoughts on it?
Okay, so let me be honest. So when I started journey, right, so I approached so many people who were trading and investing. Wherever I went, everybody was like, "Oh, you're too young, don't get into trading." But they themselves were traders, right? So they themselves were investors. I was thinking, these people are such hypocrites. So they themselves are traders. They themselves have been doing from so long. But when I want to come in, they tell, you don't come in at such an young age.
Because they don't allow children to come and do. They believe it is a scam.
So yeah, like, no, not just that. So I am talking about people who are already doing it and they are into this full time. So I was thinking, like, how is it possible that they themselves are doing it full time, and when I want to do it, they're telling no, right? So eventually, now if somebody comes and asks me, I would give them the same advice. The things have changed so much from the place where I can literally see so many people like me today come and ask that I want to trade, but I want to tell them, don't trade, because the reality of the trading is very dark, right? So 99% of the people, 90% of the people lose money, 99% of the people can't beat FD and FD returns, and there are, so it takes huge emotional toll. So when somebody of 13, 14 year age comes and asks me, so you feel at this young age, why do you want to take such an emotional toll? Like, enjoy life, like, right? So it's a natural tendency for, like, even though me being at their position, it makes me feel that, okay, it's better advice to tell them not to trade and enjoy their life and get into trading sometime later.
So your advice would be no to children.
No to children. Like, there is no need to get in so early, because you can get into the market anytime later.
Has anyone told you no during your childhood?
So many people told me no.
Okay.
Yeah, that is why I feel like, so I went and asked so many people, everybody said no to me. And when they themselves were in trading, I always used to think they are like, they themselves are in trading, but they are telling me no. But if somebody comes and asks me today, maybe I will also tell the same thing what they told me no. But I myself, I have been trading from past 10 years, but I will still say no to person who is coming in.
So every day was a no back day.
Yeah, mostly whomever I asked, they used to tell, at this age, don't get into this, like, come back late.
Enjoy your childhood.
Yeah, enjoy your childhood.
So a lot of people nowadays come into this field looking at the screenshots or looking at the number. A lot of people come in directly to the option called option buying. Is it right or wrong?
I would say there's nothing right or wrong in the markets. So why they come into option buying is two things. One, it is more lucrative, so you can make more money from that. Two, it does not require more capital. But what they should also realize is, if something is so good that you don't need capital, you can make huge money, it also comes with a huge risk, right? So if you are understanding the risk, if you can control your emotions well, you can limit your losses. Like, when I say limit your losses, it is as simple as, when you reach a particular level, you have to stop trading, cut your trades and sit. Right. So if you are able to do that, you can do anything. You do option buying, you do option selling, you do equity buying, equity this thing, anything works. So only thing is, how it all comes down to the fact that how disciplined you are, right? So the more disciplined you are, you can try out different things. No issues in that.
No issues in that. So how important is a trader's mindset in trade?
So if you take a look at it, it's only a mind game, right? So for example, there is no strategy which I can do in the market which you won't know. It's every single thing you do, it's straddle, triangle, whatever you do, it's known to public. There is nothing that I can discover that you can't discover. So both of us have the same ability, same tools, everything same, what we can end up using, right? And moreover, when you come to that, so it's something so simple that even though both of us try to do the same thing, both of us will end up getting different results in the market. We can't end with the same profit or loss, right? So I teach you a strategy and we both end up doing the same thing, but both of us will get a different P&L, because end of the day it all comes down to execution, right? So when you buy something and if market starts going against you, how do you react at that point? If the market starts going in favor, how do you react at that point? So it all comes down to an individual trader's mindset. It has nothing to do with the strategy. So how you are going to take a decision or how you are going to react at that particular moment is going to define you as a trader. So in trading, if you give say 10%, I wouldn't say even giving 10% weightage to strategy is not right, I would say, because strategy is something very common, very well known to people. So I would give more than 95% to just purely your mindset, purely your control over your emotions, because it's very easy to get yourself into the fear and greed aspect. So let's say you would have thought that I'll cut my trade at a particular level, but if that level comes, you will, so it's very easy to be indisciplined, right? So if that level comes, you can simply wait with the hope that it is going to come back in your favor. Or you would have thought 10,000 rupees I'll cut my trades. So when it goes to 10,000 rupees, that greed, that okay, I have achieved 10,000, what if I get 20,000 today, right? So these small things, which is very minute, but it is going to take a huge toll on your trading journey, because these are the things which define you as a trader, not what strategy you are using. Because it's the same strategy you are using, I can use it tomorrow.
So you define it as a trader, success is totally based upon 70% mindset and 30% skill.
Not even 70-30, I would say 95-5.
95% mindset and just 5%
the skill is to make sure that you are disciplined. That is only your skill, right? So trading is a very simple game. So today, will the market go up or down? I have no idea. So it's a 50-50, right? So it can either go up, go down. Or if I take a view on the market, 50-50 again. It can either go up, go down. So where do I actually get my edge? Where can I make money? So when it moves in my favor, assuming that I make 20 rupees. When it moves against me, assuming that I lose only 10 rupees. So now I play this game over and over and over again. So I have only 50-50 chance of making money. So markets can go up or down. So, but the more I make sure that I make 20 rupees when I win and lose 10 rupees when I lose. So, in the longer run, I will actually end up gaining with the simple math. Right? So, this is where it comes down to, and for you to make sure that you cut your losses on time, to book your profits on time, to make sure that you don't get yourself into revenge trading or get yourself greedy or fearful. So it takes skill to be disciplined. So once you're disciplined, so it's 95% more of the mind. So then,
what are the strategies you focus more on?
I mostly do option selling, that is straddles or strangles. So even here, when it comes to strategy, I don't try to do a lot of different things, right? So there are a lot of people who try to follow some 5-10 different strategies. From past 4 years, I'm just sticking to 2, non-directional straddles or strangles, and that has worked really well for me, right? So I don't have to do too many different things, but so it's more about building, again, coming to the consistency part, do the same strategy over and over again, do it, so say for 50 continuous trading days. You are going to get more confidence trading that strategy. So today you give me a new strategy, I am more confident trading the strategy which I use even in a volatile market, even in not so volatile market, because I am used to seeing ups and downs. I am used to seeing, okay, what can I do if the strategy doesn't go in my way. So since I'm used to this, I'm more comfortable with that than trying something new. So in my opinion, just stick to one, follow that religiously, you will do well.
One thing on your mind.
Like how Bruce Lee says, so he's more scared of a person who knows one kick, but he has practiced it 1,000 times versus a person who knows 1,000 kicks who has practiced it only one time.
What are the sources you advise to the beginners, like YouTube or books or any category?
So I would say, like, there are a lot of resources available, like something on YouTube. So I would tell them first try to find a strategy which suits you, so that you can only do that by trying to repeat some strategy over and over again and see which or where you find comfort. Right?
Okay.
So you cannot copy another trader's trading style as it is, because it might not fit your kind of emotion, this thing, right? So it's not easy to fit yourself into somebody or some other trader's shoe and trade like him, right? So you have to develop your own style, right? And you can't copy somebody else's style. To do that, you have to make sure that first, okay, at least you learn the basics of strategy. So like how you can do a straddle, what is the basics of straddle, so what should be your market view when you do a straddle. So something like this. There are multiple resources available on YouTube, multiple resources available on like as I told you, something like Zero the Varsity, and there are a lot of books also. But so once you get that, I would say that naturally start building your own style of trading. So stick to one or two strategies which suits you or comforts you, and then build your own style of trading.
Okay. So thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so
with
much
us
for that.
today. And this is our market hero for the day.